The rain poured like the sky was trying to wash away the whole city. Inside the glass headquarters of Vallaro Motors, CEO Zara Vallaro clenched her fists as she stared at the red Ferrari 812 standing in the service bay. It was her father's last gift to her before he died, the only thing she had left that truly felt like home. And now, it refused to start. Not a single engineer on her elite team could fix it. The diagnostics showed nothing. The computer found no faults. Every expert she hired left scratching their heads. And time was running out. Tomorrow was the anniversary of her father's death, and Zara had promised herself the car would run again, because driving it was the only way she knew how to feel close to him. But hope was gone. She slammed the folder shut. I don't want excuses. Find someone who can fix it. I don't care who. Her team exchanged awkward looks. They had already found everyone. Everyone except the one man no one wanted to call. The man who wasn't anyone's idea of an engineer. The man who worked in a broken garage on the outskirts of the city. A mechanic named Rayaan. Rayaan wiped the sweat from his forehead as he finished tightening the loose bolts on a dusty Suzuki. His garage was small, cramped, and always smelled like motor oil. The customers who came here weren't wealthy, they were the people who needed him, because no one else wanted to fix their old cars. He was good. Very good. But he worked quietly, away from the glamorous world of luxury cars and billion-dollar companies. His talents weren't recognized. His name wasn't known. And honestly, he was fine with that. Until Zara's assistant pulled up outside his garage in a black SUV. Are you Rayaan? She asked. That's what it says on the sign, he replied. You're needed at Vallaro Motors. He laughed. You're joking, right? Why would a company like that call me? Because no one else could do it. Rayaan froze. No one else. What on earth kind of problem was this? When he entered the headquarters, the employees stared at him as if a stray dog had wandered into a luxury hotel. His old boots, his cheap t-shirt, the grease on his hands, they didn't belong in a place built on glass and steel. Zara stepped out of her office, and for a moment, the world felt quieter. Tall, elegant, confident, she looked like she was carved out of authority. But her eyes, they were tired. Heavy. Lonely. You're the mechanic? She asked, surprised. I fix cars, he said simply. She led him to the Ferrari. Rayaan walked around it slowly, almost reverently. The car was stunning. Every curve, every detail, perfect. But something felt off. He listened, touched, looked, and finally crouched beside the engine compartment. Can I start working? He asked. You haven't even asked what the problem is. I don't need to, he replied softly. This car is telling me. Zara blinked. Her team exchanged confused glances. But she nodded. Hours passed. Rayaan worked silently and intensely, disconnecting parts, removing panels, and examining areas no one else had bothered to look at. While engineers relied on computers and diagnostics, he relied on instincts shaped by struggle and necessity, instincts that came from fixing cars people had abandoned as hopeless. As the night deepened, Zara returned to the service bay with 2 cups of coffee. You haven't taken a break, she said. He didn't look up. Neither has your car. She set the coffee down beside him. Why do you do this? Fixing cars in a small garage when you could easily work anywhere. He finally paused and looked at her. Because I lost everything once. My father owned a garage too. After he died, I kept it running. But the world doesn't care about small people with big dreams. Zara understood that more than he knew. She cleared her throat. Do you think you can fix it? Rayaan looked at the engine. Your Ferrari isn't broken. It's hurting. She frowned. Cars don't hurt. He gently tapped the engine mount. This one does. Someone modified it in the past, probably to increase speed, but it weakened the base. That caused a chain reaction. Your electronics shut down to protect the engine. Zara froze. Her father had once pushed the car to its limits during a race. He had smiled that day like he hadn't in years. You can fix it, she whispered. Rayaan nodded. But I need time. And trust. For the first time in years, she said, you have both. For 2 days, Rayaan worked non-stop. Each bolt he tightened, each wire he replaced, felt like he was stitching a broken heart back together. Zara watched from a distance, surprised by how much she admired this quiet, determined man who treated the car like it was alive. But then a challenge appeared. A part they desperately needed was unavailable in the entire city. Delivery would take weeks. Zara's heart sank. We can't get it, she said. Rayaan smirked. Who said we need a new one? He went back to his garage, dug through old boxes, and found a part that looked nothing like the one needed, but had the same core structure. Through long hours of grinding, shaping, welding, and calibrating, he transformed it into a perfect replacement. When he installed it, the entire team stared in disbelief. Zara whispered, you saved it. But Rayaan shook his head. I made it whole. Finally came the moment of truth. Rayaan turned the key. The engine roared to life with a deep, smooth growl that echoed through the whole building. Employees stopped what they were doing. Zara gasped. Tears filled her eyes before she could stop them. Rayaan stepped back. She's back. Zara walked slowly toward the car, her hands trembling. That sound, that vibration, it was like feeling her father's presence again. She turned to Rayaan. You didn't just fix a car today. You gave me back a piece of my heart. He smiled. Cars don't need engineers. They need someone who listens. Zara did something no one expected. She offered him a job. The entire engineering team stared in silent shock as she said, from today, you're the head of special projects. Rayaan blinked. Why me? Because talent lives in unexpected places, she said. And because you reminded me of who my father was. He hesitated. I don't belong in places like this. You do now, she replied. On the anniversary of her father's death, Zara drove the Ferrari down an open highway, with Rayaan beside her. The wind blew through her hair, the sun stretched across the sky, and for the first time in years, she felt free. She looked at Rayaan and said, my father used to say something. A machine is only as strong as the heart of the person who builds it. I think he would have liked you. Rayaan smiled. I think he still rides with you. The road stretched forward, wide, open, full of possibility. And as they drove on, one truth became clear. Miracles don't always come dressed in suits. Sometimes, they come in worn-out boots, smelling of engine oil, holding nothing but honesty, talent, and heart. Inspiring message. Greatness doesn't always shine. Sometimes it hides in small garages, quiet streets, and ordinary people who refuse to give up. Never underestimate yourself, and never judge someone by where they come from, because the right person can change everything. The morning sun spilled through the clouds, painting the city in soft gold. But inside Velaro Motors, a storm was brewing. Word had spread like wildfire that the Ferrari, Zara Velaro's treasured car, had been revived by an unknown mechanic from a rundown garage. Some called it luck. Others called it impossible. But most of the engineering team called it a threat. Whispers filled the hallways. How can a street mechanic fix what we couldn't? He's going to replace us. He probably got lucky. Rayaan walked past them quietly. He wasn't here to replace anyone. He didn't want power. He only wanted to fix things. Machines were simple. Humans were not. But today, he was stepping into a world where pride mattered more than skill. Zara entered the engineering floor, heels clicking sharply. Everyone fell silent. Her presence commanded the room, not through fear, but respect. And this time, Rayaan walked beside her. We're starting a new division, she announced. A division dedicated to innovation, restoration, and solving the problems others call impossible. Rayaan will lead it. Murmurs erupted. A few engineers exchanged angry looks. One man stepped forward, Daniel, Zara's longest-serving senior engineer. Brilliant, confident, and proud. Zara, he began, with all due respect, he is not qualified to lead us. He has no formal education, no credentials, no degree. We have worked for years to earn our positions. How can a roadside mechanic take charge? Zara opened her mouth, but Rayaan raised his hand gently. Let me speak, he said. He stepped toward Daniel, calm but firm. I never asked for this position. I don't want your title or your recognition. All I want is to fix whatever is broken. If I can help this company, I will. If not, I'll go back to my garage. The room went silent. Daniel narrowed his eyes. Then prove it. Today. In front of everyone. Zara's fists tightened. Daniel. It's fine, Rayaan said softly. Tell me what to fix. Daniel smirked and pointed to the far corner, where a covered sports car sat under a gray sheet. Underneath it was the unfinished prototype, the Velaro X0. The car that had failed every test. The project that could make or break the company. And no one had been able to understand why. Rayaan lifted the cover slowly, revealing a sleek black machine with sharp edges and futuristic lines. It was beautiful, but something felt wrong the moment he touched it. He walked around it silently, his fingers brushing the body panels, his ears attentive to every little sound. Then he knelt on the floor and inspected the underbody with a flashlight. The whole engineering team watched with skeptical eyes. After 10 minutes, Rayaan stood up. It's the heart, he said quietly. The engine. Daniel scoffed. We already checked it. No, Rayaan said. Not the engine. The way it breathes. Everyone stared, confused. He walked to the air intake system and tapped the inner panel. This piece is too tight. It restricts airflow when the car is under high pressure. The engine suffocates. That's why the prototype failed. An engineer frowned. But the computer says. Rayaan cut him off gently. Computers diagnose data. Drivers feel the machine. I listen to the car, not the numbers. Zara watched him with growing admiration. Daniel crossed his arms. Even if you're right, fixing this requires redesigning the airflow system. Our team couldn't find the solution in 3 months. Rayaan smiled. Then let's build it together. Over the next hours, something unexpected happened. The same engineers who doubted him found themselves drawn to his method, simple, honest, instinct-driven. He broke down the problem in ways they had never seen. He used a mix of traditional knowledge, street-smart techniques, and clever improvisations. At one point, he crafted a temporary airflow model using nothing but thin metal sheets, tape, and a heat gun. The team watched in awe. Daniel finally stepped closer, his pride cracking. How do you know all this? Rayaan shrugged. I grew up fixing cars that had nothing left to give. When you work on hopeless machines, you learn how to make them breathe again. Little by little, smiles began to appear on faces that earlier held doubt. For the first time, Rayaan didn't feel like an outsider. He felt like part of something. By evening, the prototype stood ready for testing. The room held its breath as Rayaan pushed the start button. The engine roared to life, not violently like before, but smooth, deep, confident. It wasn't the sound of a struggling machine. It was the sound of a beast finally allowed to breathe. The entire team erupted into applause. Zara looked at Rayaan with proud, shining eyes. Daniel approached him slowly. Rayaan braced for another argument, but instead, Daniel extended his hand. You earned it, he said quietly. Lead us. Rayaan shook his hand, humility in his eyes. Let's lead together. That night, Zara stood beside Rayaan as they looked at the glowing city from the rooftop. You changed everything today, she said softly. He smiled. I didn't change anything. I just fixed what was broken. She turned to him. Rayaan, what if it's not just cars you're fixing? He looked at her, confused. What do you mean? Zara looked away, her voice suddenly fragile. I've carried this company alone since my father died. I forgot what it feels like to trust someone. To not be afraid of falling. Her voice trembled. But when you're here, things feel lighter. Ryan's chest tightened. He wasn't sure what to say. Sometimes silence speaks the loudest. They stood there quietly, the wind brushing past them, the world moving slowly below. For the first time in a long time, Zara didn't feel alone. And for the first time ever, Rayaan realized that maybe, just maybe, life was offering him something more than greasy hands and a lonely garage. Something worth staying for. Something worth fighting for.